There's a suitcase in your closet, and it's been packed for almost a year. You filled it one bad night, folded the clothes, zipped it shut, set it by the door, and then you didn't go. So you carried it back to the closet, and there it still sits, packed, waiting. Or maybe it isn't a suitcase. Maybe it's a resignation letter you wrote at midnight and saved to your drafts, opened, read, and closed again 100 times. A lease you keep, meaning not to renew. A city you keep meaning to leave. And every day, some part of you wonders. And every day, you stay. So here's the strange question. When part of you feels it might be time, why does even considering leaving feel almost impossible? And if that's you, the packed bag, the saved draft, the promise you keep breaking to yourself, hear this first. It is not weakness. It's not cowardice. And it is not you failing at your own life. Because the thing that keeps you isn't a flaw in your character. It's a mechanism. Specific, documented, measured in laboratories for 50 years. Psychologists have watched it decide who people stay married to. And it runs the exact same way on a relationship, a job, a city, or a lease. You're not stuck because something's wrong with you. You're stuck because the longer you stay, the stronger it gets. So let's take it apart, because 3 forces are holding that suitcase in the closet, and once you can name them, they lose most of their grip. The first is behind you, the time you've already spent, which your mind counts as a reason to spend more. The second is in front of you, the unknown, which your brain inflates until an open door looks like a cliff. And the third is the deepest. It's inside you, the part that can't leave without admitting the whole thing was a mistake. The years behind you, the fear ahead of you, and the self that can't say it was wrong. Let's open all 3. Start with the years behind you. In 1985, 2 researchers, Hal Arks and Catherine Bloomer, studied people buying tickets to a full theater season. Some paid full price, others, at random, got a discount. Same seats, same shows. The only difference was how much each person had already spent. And the people who'd paid full price went to noticeably more of the plays, only because they'd sunk more money in, and skipping a show would mean watching that money go to waste. They called it the sunk cost effect. Once you've paid, you keep going, to justify the paying. And it doesn't stop at money. In 2018, in the journal Current Psychology, researchers ran the same test on relationships, and found it there too. The more time and effort and money people had poured into a relationship, the more determined they were to keep it alive, and the more they'd keep pouring in. Not because it was good, because it was already paid for. So your mind counts the 3 years, the 7 years, the 15, and files every one of them under reasons to stay. But those years are already gone. You can't win them back by staying, and you don't lose them by leaving. They're spent either way. Your brain just refuses to believe that the receipt is not a reason. But the past isn't the only thing pulling. There's the future, and this is where it gets strange, because your brain does not weigh gains and losses evenly. Kahneman and Tversky spent decades proving it. A loss hurts about twice as much as the same size gain feels good. Everything you'd give up by leaving is a certain immediate loss. The person, the paycheck, the apartment, and everything you might gain is uncertain, far off, and blurry. So your mind sets a certain loss on one side, doubles its weight, and drops a vague maybe on the other. The known bad wins. The devil you know always beats the angel you can't quite picture yet. And that unknown you're so afraid of, your brain is lying to you about it. In 1998, a team led by Daniel Gilbert and Timothy Wilson studied how people predict their own future feelings. They had people imagine the worst, a breakup, being passed over for a promotion, getting rejected from a job, and everyone predicted the same thing. This will wreck me for a long, long time. Then the researchers checked what actually happened. People recovered far faster and felt far better than they had ever predicted. Gilbert called it immune neglect. You forget that you have a psychological immune system, a built-in ability to heal that you simply cannot feel in advance. So you sit in the known bad, dreading a future pain that is mostly a phantom. The cliff outside the door was never a cliff. You just can't see the ground from where you're standing. So the past pulls you back, and the future scares you. But the third force is the heaviest, because it isn't about the years or the fear. It's about you. In 1976, a researcher named Barry Staw gave people a business decision. invest money into a failing part of a company. Then he told them it had gone badly, the money was lost, and offered them the chance to invest again. And the people who had made that first failing choice themselves poured far more into the second round than the people who'd inherited the mess from someone else. The worse their own decision had turned out, the harder they doubled down on it. Staw called it escalation of commitment, and it isn't stupidity, it's self-defense. Because to walk away is to say out loud, I was wrong. I chose this, and I was wrong the whole time. And the more it has already cost you, the more unbearable that sentence becomes. So you don't just stay, you invest more. Another year. One more move across the country to make it work. One more promotion you swear will finally fix the job you can't stand. Not because it's working, but because quitting now would mean everything you already gave was a mistake you made with your own two hands. That is why the longer you stay, the harder leaving gets. It isn't only the sunk years. It's that every extra day raises the price of admitting the truth. You're not protecting the relationship or the job. You're protecting the part of you that chose it. So stand in front of that closet one more time, the packed suitcase inside it. For years, you have called this loyalty, commitment, not being a quitter. You've treated staying as the strong thing and leaving as the failure. But look at what is really holding you there. Not love, not duty, not even hope. 3 biases wearing the mask of virtue, a receipt you can't cash, a fear that's mostly fiction, and a self that would rather bleed than admit it was wrong. That isn't strength. It's a trap that feels like strength. And if just seeing it named loosens something in your chest, that is this whole channel. Subscribe and stay with me, because there is a way out of the trap, and it is not the one you're bracing for. It is not leave, because I am not here to tell you to go. I don't know your life or your reasons, and no one on the internet should be telling you to end a relationship or quit a job. This isn't advice, it's a mirror. So here is the only honest question, the one that isn't a bias. Stop asking how much you've already put in. That number, the years, the money, the love, is gone. It is spent. You can't win it back by staying, and you can't lose it by leaving. It is off the table no matter what you do next. So ask the other question instead, the one about the future, not the past. Knowing everything you know now, if you were standing at the very beginning with none of it behind you, would you choose this again, starting today? That's the whole reframe. And notice what it does. Sometimes the answer is yes. And now you're staying on purpose for a reason that lives in front of you, not a debt that lives behind you. Sometimes the answer is no. But either way, for the first time, you're deciding from where you actually stand, not from everything you're afraid to waste. It works on the lease, the city, the career, the person. The only wrong answer is the one your biases make for you while you sleep. So tonight you'll walk past that closet again, and the suitcase will still be there, packed, waiting, right where you left it. But this time, you know what it is. It was never proof that you're weak. It was 3 of the oldest forces in your mind holding the zipper shut, the years you couldn't stop counting, the future you couldn't stop fearing, and the mistake you couldn't stand to name. And now that you can see all 3, you get to choose. Maybe the bag finally rolls out the door. Or maybe you unpack it slowly and on purpose, because you asked the real question, and the answer was stay. But either way, it's a decision now, a choice you made looking forward, out of a closet you finally opened. Because the suitcase was never really about leaving. It was about the day you stopped letting the past decide your future. And most of us spend our whole lives never even knowing it was there.